We are just a few hours away from what could be the greatest protest in the history of Nigeria, or the greatest anticlimax in the history of Nigeria, at least since the 2023 presidential elections. There's a lot of anticipation in the air in Nigeria at the moment. A lot of citizens are very uncertain about what's going to happen, and more importantly, the government is very scared of the unknown, and it has shown in their messaging over the past couple of days. The messaging from the government has been all over the place. That's the best way to describe it. Like, it has been very, very chaotic. At some point, they are like, okay, we understand your concerns, Nigerians, that please, there's no need to protest, we're working on it. And then on the other hand, they are now warning citizens. They are saying, if you come out to protest, so and so is going to happen to you. And I don't know what they are trying to do. Are you trying to scare Nigerians, or are you trying to give them comfort? And in the middle of all this, the president, Tinubu, is still not addressing Nigerians, which I believe is due to his health concerns. I addressed that in my last video. And since that video last week, a lot has happened. Like, here is just some of the stuff that the government has done and said following last week. Be sure to like and subscribe for more sincere coverage of this protest. So here's what has gone down in the past week, all out of fear for the protest coming up in a few hours. Tinubu signed the Southeast Development Commission bill, which is very, very surprising that Tinubu would be interested in development of the Southeast, following his words from the presidential campaign, where he said that if Igbos did not vote for him, that they would only get a slice of soaked bread. Not 100% sure what that means, but apparently he was trying to say that they would be marginalized, like they will continue to be marginalized if they did not vote for Tinubu, which, to be clear, they did not. Like, overwhelmingly, he did not see 25%. So Tinubu going ahead to assent to this bill at this critical time shows that he's trying to garner favor, even from the Southeast. Following this, Tinubu ordered the approval of 150,000 naira grant to every business owner in Jigawa State. As many things with the Nigerian government, the problem is always implementation. So there are a lot of orders and promises being made. So I cannot tell you how far they've gone, or if they are actually having any effects, because the hunger in the land is still a lot. The federal government also released, get this, 438 billion naira to 34 states, including Abuja, as part of the NG Cares program. Now, the NG Cares program is something that was instituted in 2021, and it was a response to the pandemic. The economic issues that arose from the pandemic, they are trying to ameliorate them by giving out money to some of the poorest households. At least that is what the program is supposed to be in theory. And I don't know why this headline says Abuja and 34 states. Why not just go ahead and say 35 states? I mean, following the last election, there's no point. Just call Abuja a state at this point. This one, when I heard it, I was like, wow, this is like a call for more inflation. 438 billion naira released. That's a lot of money, but again, is the impact being felt? Also, the SGF, NSA, and ministers held an emergency meeting over the planned protest. There have been a series of emergency meetings held because of this upcoming protest by different parastatals, and it shows that the fear is very palpable by the government. Like, the fear is in the air. The House of Representatives asked electricity distribution companies to reverse their Band A tariff hike. This tariff hike was instituted just 4 weeks ago, and they're asking them to reverse it. The federal government restarted the cash transfer scheme and reportedly paid 600,000 households just in the past week. Also, some women groups started an anti-protest protest. Like, they actually started a protest that said, say no to protest. A protest telling people not to protest. Like, is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. The Nigerian Communications Commission ordered the reactivation of certain SIMs that were blocked in just the past 2 days. The government instituted the National Identification Number and they asked all Nigerians to link their phone number to their national identification number. This was over a couple of years ago, and a lot of Nigerians still haven't done it. And for some reason, MTN chose this week, this very, very scary week, to block these numbers. And a lot of Nigerians started seeing it as government, trying to block communication so that the protests would not happen. And the government now came out after there was chaos in some MTN offices, and the government now asked that be reversed. And as a result, today MTN's offices were closed all across the nation because there was some damage to their offices just from yesterday alone. And even together with the losses that MTN has already made this year, it's a really bad time for that company in Nigeria. The Senate called an emergency session for today. This is after previously they said that they were going on recess till September 17th, but now they called for an emergency session. And they've even added that they are preparing for a total shutdown of the legislature. Like, if that does not show to you the fear that government agencies are feeling right now, then nothing else will. Tinubu directed the NNPC to sell crude oil to Dangote in Naira after an entire week of back and forth with Dangote complaining. What's the point? Why would you support a private businessman to create a refinery in Nigeria, and at the end of the day, he now has to go and start importing crude oil to refine? I mean, a lot of the APC talking points have been, don't worry, the fuel crisis would come down once Dangote refinery starts up. And I was always questioning, why is the government so interested in a private individual's refinery? And now that that refinery is starting to get up, the government now says that they are not going to give him crude oil. But now, due to probably the pressure from this protest, Tinubu is assenting to sell crude oil to Dangote. Also, the FCT minister, Wike, has started begging young people not to protest. This is following weeks of him threatening young people from coming out to protest, saying that Abuja is closed to protesters. Now Wike is begging for dialogue instead. I never thought I'd see the day that Wike begs young people not to protest. The Minister of Education also begged young people not to protest. He begged students to remain on campus during the protest and not to come out. The National Youth Service Corps, the NYSC, also shut down all core activities, begging the youths not to protest, begging core members not to protest. The federal government began selling 50-kilogram bags of rice at 40,000 naira and said that they had distributed 740 trucks of rice to different states. Now, where this rice is, I really could not confirm to you. Like I said earlier, a lot of these things, they are orders and proclamations. We don't know how they are going to be implemented, but we do know that they are trying to assuage citizens from protesting. The Inspector General of Police finally agreed to protect protesters during the protest. This is after weeks of threatening protesters from coming out, claiming that protests had been hijacked by shadowy groups, even calling the protests an invitation to anarchy. Now, the IG is saying that it's going to protect protesters. A lot is going on. Tinubu approved a monthly stipend of 50,000 naira for 10,000 youths in the Niger Delta for 12 months to alleviate poverty. And he says this is with the possibility of extension, so it could extend past 12 months. Tinubu's wife donated bags of rice to 2,400 households in Bauchi State, and this was just yesterday. I think why the government is so scared of these protests is that majority of people that are willing to protest or showing willingness to protest at the moment seem to be from the northern part of Nigeria. The northern part of Nigeria, they don't usually engage in protests, But the northern part is the part that is significantly affected by poverty in this country. So I think they've reached their breaking point, and they are going to come out and protest. And that is why the government is scared. Meanwhile, in their messaging, they still do not mention this fact, or they are afraid to mention this fact for some reason. And, they keep on trying to pin the blame on the southeast, or other presidential candidates, or a lot of different factors, on outside groups. On they've even blamed people with two passports at some point. They said the people organizing the protest have two passports. They are Nigerians, but they have other passports. And some protests already started this past week. A few days ago, market women in Edo State protested the imposition of a leader by Tinubus' daughter. And 2 days ago, protests started in Niger State, following the increase in fuel price, until the army and the police were called and came to show force. And the youths, said that, okay, they are going to stop and come out for the main protest. So we're all waiting with bated breath to see what's going to happen, and I'm going to cover it all. So be sure to like and subscribe. What do you think about the upcoming protest? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Obi King, and I will see you guys in the next one.